I'm having a problem with my garbage man. You might not think that's a big deal. Then again, you probably don't throw out the same kind of trash that I do. It started last month when Viola Services took over the trash pickup in town. Well, that's not totally true. The problem really started about 2 years ago. That's when I became a zombie. There, it's out in the open. Yes, I'm a zombie. But I'm not like those guys you see on late-night TV, shuffling around in horribly dated suit coats, holding their arms out in front of them like they're broomsticks. Nope, I'm just like you. Mostly. Yes, I'm technically not alive. And yes, I would love to eat your brains. That part, unfortunately, is exactly like you've seen on late-night TV. But you'll never find me chasing people through graveyards. And the brains thing? I only eat until I'm full. More than I can say about most of my friends, co-workers, and family members at the Old Town Buffet off Route 59. I mean, who's the real monster, right? And yes, I do have all those things. Friends, family, jerks at the office. Just because I'm a zombie doesn't mean I don't have bills to pay, parties to attend, all the usual junk that the living do. It's easier than you think to conceal my zombiness. I've always been pale, so that's not an issue. And the gaping head wound that originally killed me? I've always been a baseball hat wearing kind of guy. But now, I'm in a bad situation. A hunter's been coming around my block the last 2 weeks or so, just driving around in that car of his. A Taurus, I think. They like cars like that. Plain, boring. Think we won't notice them. So, yeah, it's the leftovers, and that new waste hauler. And most of all, my new garbage man. My problems started innocently enough. I got a crush. Zombies still get those, you know. We were once human. Those feelings don't die just because we have. Her name is Zelina. I've always liked unusual names. And that's the oddest I've ever heard. She's a butcher in the meat market down the street. That first sight of her in her white smock all drenched in blood, it made me dizzy. She has all this beautiful blonde hair that goes all the way to the middle of her back. Zelina was cool too. She liked the same industrial bands that I liked. She liked foreign horror movies from the 70s, even when they had subtitles. She thought it was fun to sprinkle the neon orange powder from macaroni and cheese boxes in the tiny bags of Cheetos she bought from the local 7-Eleven. And she knew the best way to carve up a cow to get perfect slices of beef. What's not to like? Butchering was in her bloodlines. Her great-grandfather opened McPherson's Butchery in 1910. Every generation of her family since has worked in the shop. It's a family tradition. A whole family covered in pig's blood, cow's blood, sheep, lamb. We zombies consider that stuff to be seasoning, like you humans think of salt and pepper. Like I said, if it wasn't love between Zelina and me, it was surely close. She liked my baseball hat too, and never once asked me to take it off. I had to be careful though. There was one date in particular, when we ended up parked outside the Tasty Freeze. I just finished pretending to drink a black cow. Zelina had a green river. I looked at her emerald lips, and I couldn't help myself. I planted my own square on them, and I kept them there, all the way through Stigmata. That's how long our lips locked. That was fine. It was when I went in to kiss the side of her neck, and what a wonderful slender neck it was, that things got a bit dicey. See, it was the smell. The smell of her flesh combined with the scent of the butcher shop. I wanted nothing more at that moment than to lean over and tear through her skull, to sink my teeth, strong now from months and months of work, into her soft brain. But I didn't. I managed to force my teeth away from her skin. I dropped her off at her garden apartment. I promised to call her, and then drove as fast as I could back to my house. Fortunately, the kid from next door was out, sitting on his front stoop, smoking. I walked over to say hello. The kid looked surprised. We hadn't talked much over the years, but that was okay. I didn't feel like talking anyway. The neighbor kid was skinny and pretty short. That's good when it comes to humans. It makes it easy to get rid of the leftovers. See, there are parts of you people that I just don't like. Some zombies will eat everything anyway, even the worst parts, the heels, the noses, well, the bad parts. But me? I eat what I like and dispose of the rest. Like I said, I'm not a hog. I don't have to eat everything in sight to survive. Besides, I blend in pretty well. I stick to the darkness for the most part. I keep my hat on. By the time they figure out what I am, my teeth have cracked through their bony little heads. I start with the brains, of course. Those we need. As for the rest, well, I do have a weakness for fingers. It's funny, there's hardly any meat on them, but sucking it off those tiny little bones, I can't explain it. Maybe it's like when you humans eat chicken wings by the bucket, but I don't need any dipping sauces. Getting rid of the leftovers is the part I can live without. But I'm careful, you have to be. That's because the hunters are popping up everywhere these days. No one knows why there are so many more, but there are plenty of rumors. They say their yearly pay is getting up to the 6-digit range. That's pretty good for guys who'd usually be pulling down minimum wage guarding a Costco or Walmart. So I cut the leftovers up plenty small as I can. This isn't easy. I'm careful and tidy. I make sure to throw my red-stained shirts in the wash and put on my clean white ones before I take the pieces out to the trash. And the pieces? I double bag them. Sometimes, depending on how wet they happen to be, I'll add a third layer of plastic. You can never be too careful. I stuck to my routine with the neighbor boy, double bagging his leftover parts and dumping them in the trash can out back. I then dropped a second bag full of normal trash, old milk cartons, empty cans of crushed pineapple, some dried up corn cobs, bare chicken bones that I'd scrounged from dumpsters across town, on top of it. Extra care. Then I forgot about the neighbor boy, or at least I did until the next morning when I went out back in my cleanest blue shirt to move my garbage can back to its usual place. That's when I realized I had a problem with my garbage man. It was the first week of our new service with Viola. I was quite happy with our old company, Waste Haste. No problems with them. The whole filling up and dumping out process worked like clockwork. But these new guys? Obviously, they were trying to make a good impression on the town officials who'd hired them. My garbage can stood unmoved. The garbage inside, still there. A red note, stuck to the top of the can, greeted me. It had a list of possible reasons why my trash was not picked up. The one checked? Unofficial can. There was a number? I called. The nasal-voiced woman told me that my can was either too tall or too wide. It wouldn't work with Viola's trucks. So there I was, off to the hardware store, my hat pulled down on my head, my jacket wrapped tight to my chin, despite the warm weather. The new can I had to buy didn't seem measurably smaller, but even the undead can't fight City Hall. Back home, I faced some messy work. I had to switch the garbage from the unofficial can to the official one. It wasn't too bad, though I did have to fight the temptation to rip open my bags of leftovers and steal a few bites, even if they were the worst parts. I'll admit it, falling in love was a bad idea. Inviting Zelina's parents to dinner? Inexplicably bad judgment. It was Zelina's idea, of course. Zelina was insistent, and she smelled of beef and blood and salt. I was helpless. Did you know that when you work in a butcher shop every day of the week, year after year, that it's next to impossible to get that smell out of your clothes, your hair, or your skin? That sweet smell of salt and bone and blood just sticks to you. You might not be able to pick it up like I can. The undead have an amazing ability to pick up such smells. That mixture then filled the room, no, the entire house, as soon as Zelina and her mom and dad stepped through the front door. I even tried burning my steak to overwhelm the meaty smell of my guests. It didn't work. We sat down at the table. I wanted to scream. They all smelled so damn good. "And what do you do for a living?" Zelina's mom asked. "Zelina tells me you're a painter." I found it difficult to concentrate on the question. If she already knew I was a painter, why was she asking me? "And how did you two meet?" asked Zelina's mother, not even waiting for my response to her first question. I waited for Zelina's mom and dad to look down at their plates, cutting into their steaks. Once they did, I dropped 3 cubes of my own meat to the floor. I immediately felt Ralphie, my dog, rushing past my legs to scoop up his treat. "He just came into the butcher shop," Zelina said. He was ordering so much meat, I thought he was going to open his own shop. "Put us out of business." Her father said this, his mouth full of green beans. It took me too long to realize he was just making a joke. Zelina was giving me a strange look. She was a perceptive one. She knew something was wrong. She thought I was sick. She placed her hand on my cheek, probably wanted to see how hot my skin was, like a mother checking on her sick kid. Like I said, her mistake. I didn't realize what I was doing, that I was biting right through Zelina's finger bones, until I heard the screaming and the cracking. Funny thing was, it was her mom who screamed first. Now, I had an even bigger problem. I'd killed the girl I might have loved. And her mother? Her father, too. Their bodies sprawled across the dining room floor. Blood, of course, was everywhere. I'll miss Zelina terribly, but I didn't want her or her parents coming back to life. There are enough zombies out there already. The competition for food is intense. I have to cut you people into pretty small pieces to keep you dead. I'll admit that my selfish thoughts eventually strayed to that new garbage can out back of my garage. There were already how many bags of leftovers in there? 3, 4? This pile in my kitchen would make at least 3 more bags. Zelina's mother and father were generous people. My arm turned numb by the time I was done. I'd never chopped through 3 in one night, but I was careful, as always, and this time, I not only triple-bagged but threw in some cut oranges to help mask the smell. I dumped the bodies in the garbage can and waited. Finally, garbage day came. I waited until that foul-smelling orange truck came rumbling down the alley. Then I watched. The garbage man jumped off the back and trudged toward the can. He was covered in bandanas and gloves and polyester and overalls. Did it all weigh him down? He moved as if he was plowing through gravy. Trudge, trudge, trudge. He stared at the can, rubbed his forehead, pushing his bandana toward the back of his scalp. Then he leaned forward. Yes, he was going to take the can. He was going to dump all those stink-ridden leftovers into the truck. They'd be reduced to a sticky, bone-flecked paste. They'd be gone, and I'd be left with an empty can to refill. But then the garbage man stopped. He wiped his forehead again, shouted something to his partner, the one driving the truck. And that driver reached out his window and handed something to the bandana guy. I saw a flash of red. The truck moved on. The can stayed behind, untouched. I waited as long as I could before running out to the alley. What could it be? The can was official, but there it was, another red note stuck to the lid, another check mark. The box checked this time, receptacle too heavy. I panicked. Another week? No amount of orange slices could mask the leftovers for another week. And how could I make my trash weigh less during the week? And then a solution arrived. A warm breeze wafted past me and pushed gently at my neighbor's now empty garbage can. The new garbage man was a slob. He'd left my neighbor's can lying on its side. The breeze blew the can toward me, the plastic tube rolling until it bumped the tips of my shoes. I picked it up. The can was so empty, so light. It didn't take me long to fill it. I had my neighbor's can back to its usual spot behind his garage before a single car motored down the alley. The flies were buzzing at it before I took my pale hands away from the lid. I was moving so fast. That's why I didn't notice the red streak that I'd left behind, a trail of blood that stretched from the can's lip down toward its middle. I swear I didn't notice it. Thing is, they never really know when a hunter has gotten one of us, or when he's made a mistake and shot one of you humans. It's hard to tell. After a shot in the forehead, we're all dead. And if they have found mistakes, they've never mentioned it on the news. I noticed the hunter later that day. It was unusual that he was in the alley. I don't know what spurred him to check, but there he was, standing in front of my neighbor's garbage can. I saw him wipe a finger in the red streak, watched as he brought it to his nose and sniffed. The hunter already had his gun cocked before he even reached my neighbor's back door. I turned away before the hunter knocked, and I clicked play on my Walkman before my neighbor could answer his door. The banging of stigmata almost blocked out the sound of the gunshot.